Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and to date, we're actually talking about one of the late blockbuster hits that came out this summer of 2024, kind of switching it over from something big and grandiose and blockbuster to something creepy, crawly, and scary along the hallways. Yes, we are talking about Alien Romulus. Alien classic franchise. Started from like 77 from the original one by Ridley Scott, has gone through different iterations, but has always been a mainstay of the like sci-fi horror and really set the tone for a lot of what you see now in pop culture when it comes to like space and scary stuff in space and freaky stuff. Thank you also, shout out to H.R. Geiger, which, set a whole new art precedent with how this stuff can look like. But I'm really excited to talk about this movie today with my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists, Anthony, Danny, and Zach, because this was a fun time in the theater. We will talk about our overall final thoughts, but I kind of want to, open the bay doors immediately to what you guys thought about the movie, especially since Zach has never seen anything of this franchise until this one.
Not a one. Not a one.
Not a frame.
Have you ever seen?
I mean, I've seen a few minutes of
not
one
a
of the
frame.
older ones.
Had you seen the alien creature before?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know what they look like. I mean,
okay.
I whether I've seen them in pictures or videos or whatever in other pop culture reference type stuff. I know that they look like. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie is got some fun surprises, some great overall set pieces, but also great framing for the kind of freaky, scary stuff you find in space. Fede Alvarez, I think, did an amazing job. But heads up, we will be going into some minor spoilers, so keep an eye out. Cover your ears and probably your mouth from the face huggers. But yeah, that's the thing that really freaks me out. But we will get into some stuff, especially this very pivotal final act, which I'd rather people not get spoiled, so be warned. Don't open don't open the special vial of whatever it is, or don't open the spoiler scene until you watch this movie, because the surprises are quite nice. I like them a lot. They're really cool. So going right into it, we saw this in Dolby. I figured that would probably be the best way to watch this movie because of all the sound. These movies have always done well with sound, especially like stuff that's like going out into space or coming in from space, or other things that happen in spaceships or space stations or whatever you may have it. Even like sound effects that have persevered throughout various different movies. And it's great to see all that kind of come together as sort of like a nice greatest hits in Romulus. From someone who's seen all of them except Covenant, there's a lot of nice set piece continuity. Like all the sets look like they did in the various different movies. A lot of things sound like they should. The way like interfaces, it really hit. It was between like that and like Star Wars that started off the whole used future thing. And I think a slight correction. Alien was in 79, not 77. They probably were trying to work on it in 77, but then Star Wars happened, and then Ridley Scott's like, all right, we're going to have a possible solid movie on our hands. And then, we get to, the, what we are with today. So, overall, what were your guys' thoughts on the Dolby experience and the movie?
I'll start because since I haven't seen it, I haven't seen anything else prior to this. The Dolby experience was really nice. Like again, like you were saying, the sound is really well done. And then in some parts, the lack of sound, especially there, literally the first shot of the movie. Yeah. Right when
it's like the first minute or two, right? It's just like
it's about a minute or so. Yeah. Literally the opening shot after the 20th Century logo, then it's like dead silent for a good time, because it starts off by showing like a spaceship heading towards like a wreckage of another bigger station or something, and it's just complete dead silent. It's like a black with dots of like stars, and then you see the silhouette come to frame. And then we finally get sound from within the ship and stuff. But
Like you go in the ship and then that's when the sound comes in,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yep.
and then I remember being so dead silent in the theater. At one point, I think right before sound started to come, I heard like a couple giggles or
Yeah,
something
someone
like
behind
that
us
in the
for
back.
sure.
Because it was one of those like maybe they
too
felt
long.
awkward. It was like too awkwardly quiet. So they
People
just
can't
kind
be
of broke
silent
the
for 2 minutes.
Or like someone's trying to eat something or like
Yeah.
take a sip from their Coke.
I couldn't imagine just someone going, "Shut up!"
Yeah, everybody
think I did in the-
completely like at a standstill, but also
Try-
like, hey, I have my popcorn needs. I need to eat
Yeah,
stuff.
they have
Or I
to,
need
Like
to
while we're
Slurp my-
here with
bunch of
big
crunch.
Yeah.
Imagine if you hear the from like all the
candy box.
all the candy going like
It
up the
tumbling
box.
down the box. Yeah.
The way to shame that person would be like, that person spent $6 on candy. Like,
And then I would have been like, sorry,
yeah,
because I shouldn't have spent $6.
on the bunch of crunch.
And then of course then as the movie progresses and you get the cool sounds like sound effects from like the ships or from things from space in some parts, and then the aliens later on. It was all really really well done. Like the Dolby's the best experience for just anything that is going to have good sound or it's something that was made with good sound in mind.
Yeah, like the whole sequence when they are convinced by Tyler to use Andy, and Rain's like, oh, I'll come along with it, I guess, so that we can get out of here, because she got intense future space capitalized by capitalism, where they're just like, nope, we increased everything, you're boned.
It's like, I did my 20,000 hours.
He's just like, well, suck it.
Looks like it increased to 40.
Yeah, 40, so get bodied in this sunless planet that you have to work on
There's
forever.
nothing
For another
you could do
5
about
to
it.
7 years or
Yeah.
whatever it was that they told her.
Get wrecked. And she's like, well, okay, I'm getting... So that way then, poor Rain and, Andy's trying to cheer her up. Andy, the android, which I found funny. I was like, he's an android named Andy. Hitting out with some of my favorite lines in the entire movie. Giving some levity to the serious, wild stuff that goes on in this. Tyler and his crew of people are like, hey, we found a way to get out of here. We can go to this place, get the fuel, and then just get the hell out. And that whole sequence of them getting off the planet and then getting to the space station, it sounded great. And the alien movies have always done that well. Whether they're landing down on somewhere. My big thing, my favorite is Aliens. So there's a lot of the going down into a planet, leaving a planet. There's stuff going out of airlocks. A lot of very jarring sounds that help you establish the tone. On top of that, the movie had some really awesome shots and some great play with light.
I mean, the cinematography was really great.
Yeah, it was really spot on. Like
who would have known that an alien movie would be so artistic?
If you watch the original, yes. If you watch the original,
I mean, then again, yeah, Ridley Scott. But I'm thinking these are at least the originals were more horror based. This one's also kind of more horror based.
oh, this one's for sure more horror based. Yeah, a little bit of action,
but very
surprisingly, a little
cinematic
bit of action.
for a horror movie. But then again, it's a space movie, or it takes place in space. A lot of it takes place in space.
God, you never heard the phrase "in space, no one can hear you scream"?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, where do you think it came from?
Tagline
Yeah,
of the. I think also this movie too, right?
yeah.
They used it again.
No one can still hear you scream. It was a lot of it felt like this movie in the end fit perfectly into this whole overarching humans playing with this kind of stuff and aliens and the whole Prometheus Covenant kind of thing happening. It felt good. It didn't feel like you needed necessary watching either. So somebody like Zach can be like, "Well, I like this movie. Oh wait, there are others. Cool. Let me go
Now
back."
I could go in and watch all the others.
Yeah, and then you can watch the original one and be like, "Whoa, they did all this with that kind of budget and tech from '79, sure, or '78, whatever."
Because this one's set in between the first and second one, right?
Correct. It's set in between 1 and 2.
And then obviously after Prometheus and Covenant.
Yes, after Prometheus Covenant, and then
Well, because Prometheus is I guess the beginning,
The prequel.
the beginning of the timeline.
the ultimate prequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Prometheus, Covenant, 1, this, 2, 3, 4.
All right. And then where do the AVPs fall in? Are they separate timelines?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't watch it.
It's an alternate timeline.
Doesn't
The
matter.
AVPs are technically beforehand, and then
Before what?
before the first Alien, or sorry, before Prometheus, like AVP
Really?
1 and
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because it takes place in the current
like
time.
2004, 2005. That's when those movies take place.
Okay.
And then the first Prometheus
You're
is like
sure.
2080 something.
Yeah, I
Whatever it
guess.
was. Yeah.
Well, I think this one was like in the 2600.
Yeah.
Right. The
No.
Or 20,
thought it was
21.
21 something. So it's like a
Oh,
few
21.
Years.
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's
never
21,
mind.
not 26.
Okay, I thought I read 2600.
You also and then if you want to get really technical with it, then you have Prey, which takes place in like the 1700s.
Yeah.
And then Predator, which is like 1987.
Yeah. Or didn't it come out in 84 or something?
No,
82?
it came out in
Or
87.
Okay. That was much.
Yeah. I'm gonna remember one of the best movies ever made. What year it came out? You son of a bitch. Anyway, we're getting off topic. This
Yo,
movie's
one
awesome.
ugly
Like what I liked a lot about this movie is that things happen and no one is necessarily like stupid. Like no one did some like really stupid thing. Like let me touch
Yeah, it
the
wasn't
weird
weird.
pulsing thing that's kind of like, really dumb. Like it was, it felt very natural that like, oh, we're gonna go into this room and get the fuel,
They
and
were
it just so
confident.
happened
Like
Just-
things happened, but it wasn't like they didn't know that would make that.
oh, I'm gonna
happen.
take this risk. Yeah, like when Bjorn when Bjorn and Tyler are in that room with and like, oh, surprise.
With the water.
Yeah, the water goes because the face
Yeah.
huggers are stored in there.
Yeah,
And
they
you're
didn't
like, oh,
know that
shit.
those things were frozen, and that like whatever they were taking away would like
Unfreeze it,
initiate
yeah.
the,
Yeah,
the
it was-
heating mode and like
was
unfreeze
it-
everything.
I think it was just cryo, like fuel for the cryo
Yeah,
chamber.
yeah,
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we need that fuel to fuel
So it was
their
in-
cryopods.
And it was in a cold, or in a
stasis.
freezer, basically.
Yeah, we're gonna be in space for 7 years. Might as well go into cold sleep. And that, just so happens, like that sucks. And also, what was wild is like the whole conceit of like, by the way, if you don't turn on like some of the systems, the ships, the space station's artificial
Like,
gravity
locks
kept
it.
turning off and on, which was another level of like, oh, this is freaky as hell. Like
But that was cool.
yeah, it was
Like,
cool, but also
it
scary.
for cool moments,
Like-
especially later.
That reminds me of like a lot of like it reminded me actually a little bit of Alien Isolation, where like there's a lot of stuff that's just there, like just happens to be
That was
against
the
you.
video
It's just
game,
like
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the video game,
Which
the
they said
director
they
I'm
took,
pretty sure he used a lot of.
he took
Yeah.
a lot of stuff from it, like in a good way. Like he there are little nods and as well as various little like callbacks in the sense of like whenever there's one of those video phones or something, you're like, oh, shit's about to go down. Like he had said for sure that's what's was there on purpose as like a sort of forewarning to some other things happening. Yeah, like that. All that stuff was kind of like, man, that's against their control. Like they weren't like, it wasn't like Prometheus. They're like, I'm gonna touch the weird black goo because why not?
Oh, yeah, that was-
There were so many stupid people in that movie.
I have heard, and again, I just I don't know how professional we are for not having seen the entire series and giving input, but I have heard that Covenant like dials that up to like a new level of stupid.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Yeah, or just like, we're stupid. We're gonna be really dumb about this, and it was like it's something else, man. Like. But like at least with this one, it felt like, oh damn, like we have to kind of do it. Like Andy having to take the androids, like
the new protocol.
like the new protocols, like to get his extra access to open the door. Like, hey, you needed to do that, but as a consequence, now he's
This
less.
happened,
Yeah,
yeah.
most of his personality is gone, and now he's more of like the personality of Rook, the science officer who happened to also be an
I mean, his
android.
personality wasn't really there. It wasn't replaced, but they just added that.
Yeah, they
chip.
added it to
Yeah.
it, but then there was
That,
more
okay.
rationality.
Yeah, it
but
was
then
like-
that chip also became the, hey, by the
corporate
way,
programming.
your corporate programming is now kicking in. It reminded me of RoboCop or like
Yeah.
secret directive,
And he got like strength and like.
Well, he had it. It's just more control.
No, yeah.
Because his jacked up programming. Because remember, he was a salvaged synthetic from
They already had,
Rain's
like,
parents.
issues.
Yeah. And
So that was cool to see.
it was
the-
really
the
cool to
contrast.
see. Yo, shout out to David Johnson, by the way. Like
yeah, he was
did an
probably one
awesome
of the
job.
best in the movie.
He was the actor, right? That played.
Yeah, he played Andy. And like
Because he even had to like change his accent.
Yeah, from American to British.
yeah, his normal accent is British.
Yeah.
And then it went to like the
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm saying, like,
I don't think
within
any,
the movie.
even the best American actor can really pull off a good British accent. I can name one, but I don't know.
Gillian
I don't know by
Anderson.
name. I don't know by name. Who?
Gillian Anderson.
I don't know.
She's
that.
done a few.
Okay, no,
stuff
I'm
in-
thinking of a
yeah.
guy.
Oh, you think of men?
This guy that if you've seen Oh man, what's the show he was on?
You're
He was
saying
on
going-
Heroes. The guy on
You're
Heroes.
saying going from American
Silent?
to British?
No.
No,
British
he was
No, there's a
the
lot
guy
of-
that
British
aged
actors
that like has is immortal. The guy that was like the samurai.
Oh,
He's American,
yes,
but he pulls
yes,
off
yes,
the British
yes.
accent very well.
Yeah.
Very convincing. I thought he was British. That's how convincing it was.
Oh, you know who does a good job? I just remember this because I was kind of like, oh, let me do a quick scan, and this name came up. Very, very accurate. Alan Tudyk.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't he
Russian
do-
Knight's Tale.
Doesn't he do a tiny bit of an accent with a K2?
Yes.
Like it's
yeah,
slightly British?
It's a slightly British. Yeah. Apparently, also people will say Renee Zellweger and Bridget Jones, like all the Bridget Jones Diary stuff. John Lithgow in The Crown is a good one.
And it's Lord Farquhar? No, I'm kidding.
And that's Mark
It's more of a posh
Wait,
accent.
do we count Brad Pitt?
And for being a Viking?
Dags.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That role's amazing.
You like Dags?
Yeah. Apparently, Carrie always in Princess Bride says that Robin Wright Penn's accent was really good, like in Princess Bride, which again Zach can't comment on.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
You know, another movie from '87 that you have not seen. That's a cool little callback. Yeah. You know, the whole cast for what the material they gave was stellar. Like no one was the point where just like, okay, like it's like, you know, they didn't seem out of place, or nobody was like, hey, you're bad, or like, oh, like what's going on?
Yeah, it was like everyone
did their part. Like I
good
knew
to great.
Navarro was
Like no one
good.
was terrible. Everyone was good to great. And I think Andy was the best.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
Kaylee Spaney, like for sure is gonna get like way more work now.
Well,
Like,
she's already...
She was the main girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was in
Civil War.
Civil War. Yep.
and she was in the Priscilla movie.
Oh, that's right. That is
against Priscilla.
absolutely right. She
With-
played Priscilla Presley. Yeah.
She's
But
going to
yeah.
be in the next season of Beef.
Alongside Oscar Isaac.
And she's also going to be in Wake Up Dead Man, which is the Knives Out movie.
Yeah, the next Knives Out. Nice.
So
Yeah,
got
man.
some work.
She's
She's coming up, and
she's
so
on the up
is
and up.
so is live action Dora. Isabel Merced. She's
Could you-
getting a lot of roles too.
She's
Yeah,
also
man.
Oh, that was her?
She's gonna be Hawk Girl.
Yeah, dude.
Hawk Girl. Sorry. Hawk Girl in the DC
Freudian
universe.
slip.
No, I didn't say it. I said it twice,
Freudian
so you can
slip.
hear what I said. I said it with a K both times.
Girl.
Yeah.
for,
She's also
Girl
going to be in
Man.
season 2 of The Last of Us,
Uh-huh.
which is going to be interesting.
She
Oh,
was,
that's right, yeah.
I
It's gonna be
mean, not a
Dina,
great
right?
movie, but she was just in Madam Web.
Oh.
She was
But it's
also
okay.
in Transformers.
Yeah.
The
The
last
fifth one. The
Not-
last night.
Oh, she did a lot
Was
of
it the
movies
last
that I
night?
remember.
Last
Or was it
night.
the
It was
fifth?
the last night, not the fourth one. It was the fifth
yeah,
one.
I know she was in Sicario 2.
Yes.
She was the little girl in
Sicario,
Sicario
yeah.
2. She's. I think I mentioned it before, but she was in that movie that I liked a lot with Mark Wahlberg.
Instant
And-
Family.
Yeah, Instant Family.
Yeah,
Not
that was
the
pretty
last
solid.
night.
No, not that good. No, that's not a good movie.
Not the last night. I have to keep
Nah,
bringing up the
Instant
last
Family.
night. I hate this.
Instant Family is a good movie.
Instant Family is a cool one. Yeah. Yeah, like I loved the aesthetics. I loved the like, and I'm glad that Zach liked the aesthetics of. Actually, you know, we talk about games sometimes. Have you ever played the game Dead Space, or seen it?
I might have seen gameplay from like one of those
Trailers.
game presentations that
Sure.
you know,
Okay.
they've announced
Got
it. But I've never seen gameplay. I've never seen a proper trailer.
So the remake came out like last year, like in 2023. You should play it. It's really good. But it owes a lot to the Alien franchise specifically.
Yeah.
Like, you know, freaky stuff on a spaceship, like freaky monsters that look really grotesque, but like have this intricate, like jointed, linked up like art style. I'm not there. Just people always just reference
Nasty
HR.
stuff.
People just reference HR Geiger like because of that. So like it's really like sets the foundation for a lot of this subgenre of like sci-fi horror. And seeing, I mean, I'll just say it right now, like yeah, Alien Romulus is a good like overview of all those different tropes and styles of art and framing and kind of like still dealing with other little like themes of just like, you know, humanity reaching beyond its grasp and all that stuff and doing some nasty stuff.
I have a question, because one thing at least I noticed in like 2 of the last few movies, and this one included, there's like some like Greek kind of like naming schemes going on in these last couple movies.
Oh, because the station one half was Remus and one half was Romulus.
Yeah, and then the first then the Prometheus. It's also
Oh, and that's Greek. Yeah.
Greek.
Well, that's the whole idea of like, Prometheus stealing fire. He means stealing from the engineers, all that kind of wild stuff. Yeah, that's.
But is it
it's just
like or not the reboot, but has it been since Prometheus, or has there been some
not really
Greek naming conventions in the original ones from?
Not that I remember. Most of the like planet designations were like LV and then numbers like for something and or
like more scientific kind of names.
Like the space station in Alien Isolation. I'm trying to remember. Oh, like it's based off. It's like a Russian name. So like
Well, and then in the first movie, the ship is
the Nostromo.
Nostromo.
Yeah. So it's like the naming conventions don't necessarily only do Greek-Roman myth. It's just happened to work thematically. Like Prometheus is the whole idea of Prometheus. Like when you watch Prometheus, it'll make more sense why it's called Prometheus.
Okay.
And then the Alien movies up to Resurrection even don't necessarily have a hard like Greco-Roman thing going on.
It's like aliens.
Yeah. Exactly. Like the planet in Aliens is called Hadley. Like the colony is called Hadley's Hope. Like but not really anything completely related to that.
I don't mean like though it's like everything like
well,
has like
no,
a
yeah, I know what you
thing,
mean.
but
Yeah,
like
I know
there are a few
it's like
kind of thrown around. But then again, you kind of get that anywhere.
Like do they use a lot of references like that? Not really.
Yeah, I mean we use it.
Yeah.
Like NASA use it. Apollo, literally, it's right there.
No, yeah, that makes sense because you're going towards the sun or stars. Like, yeah, but this is like. It made sense thematically because you have two brothers working towards this other thing, the progenitors of Rome. So like, hey, we're a science station. We're trying to advance human race and all that stuff. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's one thing that I definitely like. I don't know immediately. I think Danny understood the immediate like callback reference to it, but I know Anthony for sure did because I think I was next to him. I was like, "Oh my god, this happened!" And like the ultimate surprise for me was the fact that they reused the android models that was in the likeness of the late Ian Holm, and I thought that was really freaking cool. Like, yeah, you can tell it's CG, but in my opinion,
to me,
it wasn't it wasn't as like glaring as say like the Princess Leia and the Grand Moff Tarkin stuff from like Rogue One, but like it helps because
it was close.
It helps because it's in a dark room. And they were in the computer screens, which
I feel like
I didn't like it that much.
I feel like
that was to me that was the one thing of visual effect that was off to me in the whole movie.
It was a little off.
Everything else looked amazing.
The parts where he was there in person versus like when we see him on screens later on. Yeah. Like in screens, obviously you can't tell because of
and also the screens were like all fuzzy and everything.
I feel like
it's
like they hit it.
It's like all like monochromatic green.
I feel like I'm in the minority where like I'm cool with it because of
it's
it being an Android and it's like
I'm not gonna like knock it off because of what it was, but I feel like just
cool,
the lips was the part that was.
That's usually the hardest part.
The hardest
like
part
the eyes and the nose and like the face.
Remember Henry Cavill and Joss Whedon Justice League with the weird mustache?
It was like that a little bit.
But, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was serviceable. I think, maybe I had the glossy nostalgia glasses on. I had my glasses on, but the nostalgia glasses on because I was like, man, seeing like Ian Holm in there, and the back of my mind was like, oh, is this tasteful? But apparently
they got permission.
They got permission from his estate. Like, yeah, please do it. They would have loved that. Like,
it's still crazy to think like.
And Ridley Scott loved it. Apparently, he's like, oh, that's great. Like, yeah, like if it's one thing that keep consistent is the androids, like which worked with spoiler alert, works with Bishop. In Aliens into Alien 3 and also Alien vs. Predator.
So I don't remember
Ian Holm and all of the other older...
No, so Ian Holm is in the first movie.
Just in the
Alien.
first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
different name.
Yeah.
So that's what's also kind of weird to me. Like, I feel like if they were going to use the same likeness and same type of android, it should have been the same name, and it's a different name. I guess you could say it's a different model, but then it's like, then why bother using him?
Because of a spoiler thing for Alien that I kind of don't want to spoil for Zach because of the whole plot twist of his character. Because then it makes sense. So like, hey, we're going to use that particular model for sciencey stuff. And it's like for the good of the company, which we got out of the movie, which I thought was really cool. Like, again, like,
greater good.
Shut it!
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
By the way, they're re-releasing it this Friday, I think.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Which I work.
Right. Yeah, it is this Friday.
Yeah.
Do I work?
Yeah, not Hot Fuzz, but Shaun of the Dead.
Hot Fuzz will be in 08.
I think I work until 4. So
but,
you should go do it.
But yeah, to me, that was the one
you should go do it.
visual effect that I didn't really. Everything else looked so good in this movie.
It was the weekend.
That it was.
I was fine with
it. I think that's why. Is because since everything else looks so good, I think if there were other parts that looked okay, then that wouldn't be so jarring. But because it was like to
everything looked great. Yeah.
To me, it was like pretty like obvious. I'm like, okay, they're trying to do this.
The CG acid floating looked pretty cool.
No. I'm saying everything looked good,
but because that was the low point,
face,
you're like, damn, like that's
except for that emulated face.
I'll that's the hill I'll die on and say like I didn't mind it
because I
understand where you're
I'm just saying like
that's for sure.
I guess I wouldn't have minded it if they're. I kind of like thinking like if the people making the movie like what's the alternative? They could have either just gotten a completely different new android or something else, and not used Ian Holmes.
You can't use Lance Henriksen,
right? But you could have,
but
because
it made more sense because again, his character,
but I'm saying, like,
thematically in one is kind of like this android is sort of like your primary antagonist in Romulus, so it's kind of the same thing.
I guess the technology that is used to do that facial and motion capture is still like not in its infancy, but it's still not perfect. It's not perfect. It still needs work, and I'm sure it's also expensive and hard to do. So I feel like I wonder if it would have just been cheaper to like make an animatronic and make it look like Ian Holm, and it probably will look better because it'll also look more realistic because it's there. So I don't know. Maybe it's it's more expensive, but maybe it's faster than to make a whole animatronic.
Yeah.
So to me that was just the one thing. It's like it's weird that they chose him, but I guess if everyone that they asked was okay with it, and if Ridley Scott liked it, then that's fine. It just to me that was the one visual effect that stuck out.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is that like. Apparently, it was the one. His estate and his widow had said like, oh, like there was wish to have more acknowledgement from it, and even Ridley Scott's like, yeah, like the thing that a lot of it that kind of ties in are the androids and like having what better way to do it be Ian Holm, like like whether the execution. Yeah, the execution could be less something that's to be desired. Yeah, you have to see it to have your own opinion. Mm-hmm. I thought it was serviceable. Like it's not like super bad. Like it does get better when he's just on computer screens.
Yeah,
where he's just like, "Thank you, you're gonna die for the company." I was like, "Oh,"
because you can actually it actually sort of makes it look like it was like a thing they made because of the screen is like blurry and it's kind of twitchy.
And green.
So
green
they
tint.
So they kind of mask it with the the oldie but new technology. Like kind of what we were saying. It's like futuristic but still old technology.
But Rogue One still did it best, I think. With Tarkin at least.
I don't think so.
I think it was.
I like it. I like that they brought in the character of Tarkin, but again, it's early tech, but it does look really jarring, like next to Krennic.
I mean, some parts definitely like. I mean, I'm sure it could have been lighting or something.
The best they've done was Indiana Jones in the most recent movie.
Yeah,
I think they like spent tons of money on that sequence. And it shows because it actually looked really good compared to the other examples that we've said. So when you have the time and the money, sure you can make it look great, but how much is it worth it? I mean,
and this
Indiana Jones lost a lot of money.
Danny, what was this movie's budget? Right, like 80 million.
80.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. So it's like
really 80.
Yeah. So there's been a couple of movies where they've been making them sub 100 million. And they've made pretty decent money. -1.
Which I gotta see minus
the creator.
Yeah, the creator
was another one.
Oh, yeah,
where like these movies actually look really good, really well done, and they were under 100 million.
100, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they gotta some of these larger movies, like larger in scope, you can make them under 100 million and still make money from it. A lot of these studios need to stop making $300 million.
I would think it's mainly to do with then they have to pay the actors because these are like the movies that are 150, 200 plus million. I'm
just
sure a
have
chunk of
big
that goes
A-list,
towards
yeah.
big name actors.
Well, then
like,
that's ridiculous.
Like, when you think about the
stop
MCU,
asking for $50 million.
like when you think about Avengers Endgame, I'm sure a good chunk of that budget was to pay Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans,
every actor.
Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo, every single person in the movie.
But you had like
the 50 plus
characters.
actors they had that were main roles in that movie.
But that's also Marvel. That's a different thing, and the thing is, they know they can do that because they know they're gonna get tons
The
of money.
return.
Yeah.
But like on a smaller.
Not lately. But
Yeah, but not the movies lately didn't have those 50 characters in it.
yeah.
They Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday is gonna make a buttload of money.
Oh, I think it's gonna be a $2 billion movie.
Probably.
I think so.
And
Easily.
whatever Secret Wars is gonna make
$3 billion.
2.5. almost.
Honestly, it could be
might.
2.5, $3 billion. I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, I mean, it's like Marvel's probably one of the only studios that can actually spend that much money on a movie because they'll probably make it in return.
Either Marvel as a whole or just James Cameron.
Yeah, just James Cameron. But yeah, most movies nowadays, like the in quotes, blockbuster or big budget movies.
Yeah.
You can't really be spending that $250,000.
If you want to be a blockbuster, try to spend a little less. Like, do more practical sets. Try to make some of this work. Like, have something like.
And you can see it
some
work.
Good examples. Yeah.
Some limitations create creativity, like to make some stuff happen.
But then also you have like all these movies lately that have like problems. Like they'll do like reshoots, blows up the budget. Things happened with like COVID, and then that blew up the budget, and then all these
Mission Impossible
side
Like,
things.
how much was Doom 2? Like 100? I think it was 100 flat.
100? No, 104. I thought it was 140.
Like,
I think it was definitely like
Definitely under 150. Dune 1 was definitely under.
The
one?
Dune 2 budget was $190 million.
What?
There we go.
wow. It's like
But what about the first
That
one?
all went to Hans Zimmer.
it's like a mid
Dune 1 budget was 165.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, both of those
But still
made
under
money.
200.
And the first one was a day and date, and it still made money. Like it was on
it was,
HBO Max
yeah.
on the same
Yeah.
day.
And then part 2 made 700 something million.
Yeah, so
That was still this year, right? Damn.
yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, that was March, right? March?
Yep, this year, March.
Crazy. It's only been 5 months.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
190 million, well worth it. Because
So,
the movie was amazing.
Before
and this one's 80.
Yeah, and this one's 80, and
And-
it's already made 225.
Has it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
225.
In 2 weekends.
Well, it's also come out in like a good time because one, like the Deadpool Wolverine kind of.
Yeah, it's the tail end of the
Tail
summer.
end of it.
But then you also have like Borderlands and some of these movies that have not really
Kind of
opened up
meh.
too well. So it's given it some chance to come up as well. But opening wise, it did pretty solid. When we went, at least in the theater, it was
That theater was pretty packed.
Yeah.
And it was a Friday night. Oh, by the way, a coworker of mine went to the Thursday night showing at Dolby. They had a whole not interactive, but they had a whole little
Face hugger.
No, okay. So what they
no,
did was
I don't want it.
somewhere in the middle of the movie. Somewhere in the middle of the movie, the alarm started going off in the theater,
No way, dude.
and people thought it was like an actual thing, like to get out of here. Maybe
Actual
there was like a
alarm?
fire or something. And then someone in the front or towards the front starts like screaming, and then the alien comes out of them, and it's like, and then at the end, the announcer's like, "Okay, you can all go back to your seats."
Oh my
And
God.
then it continues.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
wow. Like the movie actually stops.
Wait, that was here in Miami?
It was
Because I think I saw some of those
I saw those
doing it
on,
in like LA or something.
It was in the Dolby Theater at Sunset,
How come
Maybe-
they
but
don't
it
do
was
that?
only Thursday night.
We've
It was
never gone.
Thursday.
We
I
always
never-
go to Thursday night movies and they never do stuff like that.
So
And
that
but then this time we go on a Friday night, and they did something on Thursday.
so
That's horseradish.
this is
It was rad.
so it's fun when movies do that. Do not do that for this movie. Hell no. Do that. I would have lost my
No,
shit.
it would have been like the
No
alien encounter.
way. No, I'm
That Disney ride.
that
That's not
Disney
there
ride I still have like
I gotta-
core
I gotta-
memories of that ride that freaks me out. Like
I gotta
some
ask
dude
him.
getting eaten and like the spray,
Oh,
like
yeah.
which with once we get a whole bunch of xenomorphs, like it was really cool seeing these things kind of like come back, come to life, and they were done really well. Like I thought we were only gonna have one. It turns out no, we had more.
Many.
We had many.
The power of many.
But what was also cool is that like Andy, actually before I get into this, I want to lastly kind of let you folks kind of go over some of your favorite moments in the movie, because I didn't want to just like rattle off a whole bunch of stuff and then be like, wow, that guy just spoke over everybody. Thanks. But yeah, go ahead.
One of my favorite parts, which I thought was pretty cool, was kind of like in the middle-ish before that final act. Rain is getting the gun, like the assault rifle that she got. That's like head tracking.
It's the pulse rifle.
Aimbot.
I'll be that nerd. It's a pulse rifle.
And
aim assist.
And I'm glad that they included that.
Yeah, because it's not like she could just know how to shoot.
Right, because then people would have complained, and rightfully so. Like, oh, she could just headshot anything now.
She's a minor.
When she said she's like never used a gun, it's like it wouldn't have made sense. So it's like, yes, okay, she was able to shoot because of a aim assist.
Now, was that something that was in like any of the other movies, or was that first time?
They have stuff similar to that in Aliens. Like they have like aiming rigs, but they have also way bigger guns. They also have cool ass flamethrowers. Which in the first movie there is a makeshift flamethrower. In the second movie, there's like legit cool ass flamethrowers.
Always good to have a flamethrower around.
It's always good to have a flamethrower. I've always,
I think the games even.
I've always said a lot of like sci-fi horror stuff, like they're gonna hit you with a flamethrower, and if you have a good and even like in some games, if you have a good flamethrower, you have a good game.
Russian Pink.
Dead Space has a good, like the remake actually made the flamethrower pretty strong. Like it's cool.
But yeah, so in that sequence, the lighting was cool because they had like some like fog.
It was like mist because it was so close.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was
cool.
My thing was like, oh, maybe because it's like the final floor before space or something, and like I don't know, whatever. Yeah, we don't know, but it was freaking cool.
With that, then you have like her obviously shooting the gun and getting headshots, but while that's happening, the gravity turns off or on.
No, they turned it off.
They turned it off
because they're like, wait a minute, I have an idea. And then, basically, before we get to that idea, it's because the saving grace of the entire movie was one of Andy's terrible jokes. What was the joke? It was I read a book about I think it was like Isaac Newton and gravity. I couldn't put it down. And then Rain's like, oh wait, and then she goes to the controls and just like turn off the gravity, hold on, and then just light them up, and
then get the acid or blood or whatever to just
stay there because it wasn't
gonna go down
and break through the floor. And what was also really cool is that as she's flying through in zero G'ing, it's like, oh no, like Andy's like, no, Rain, watch out, you're gonna hit. She shoots to like off submission. I was like, dude, that was great because I would have gotten got. Like I would have been like, damn, I'm screwed. Like here's the gun, I guess, to try to build through it. But the sound effect of the pulse rifle was so cool.
Yeah,
because that's ripped straight from Aliens, and also ripped straight from like the other video games that this franchise has spawned. Like it was perfect. Like,
I think also even like the door openings and like the key card things and the
freaking alarm. Oh my god! I don't know why in the future alarms need to be so jarring. I get it because space will kill you, but like at the same time, come on, like just you have 5 minutes left. You have 2 minutes left.
Oh yeah, that whole countdown.
It's like, please stop. Like
it started off with like what 30 something minutes. So.
Yeah.
When the station like came off of its axis a little bit.
Yeah, Rook was like, no, you gotta get out. But thank you for serving the Weyland Yutani Corporation. What else? So that was also a great moment.
For me, one of the ones, like one of the scenes that stood out a lot, and it has nothing to do with like anything that happened in the story, but the whole climax part, when they're going into the rings of the planet.
Yeah.
Like visually, it looked freaking incredible. That was wow.
Yeah, like the space station falling into the whole rings, just like that.
And then the ice and the rocks just like flying by, and then as it crashes into it, oh my god, it was stunning.
It looked really cool.
It was incredible.
And that all with a good budget.
Yeah, dude. And speaking of
great.
Some of the budget might have even went to that final act where
which was wow.
God, what was her name? Like Isabella Merced's character.
Kay.
Yeah, Kay. Like she's like, the whole thing is great because they set up the idea of the goo from Prometheus.
Yeah.
where it's that black like engineer glue, like, oh, this can be our sense of human evolution.
Venom.
But but also, hey, don't look at the other part where the it just blows up and destroys the lab rat.
They moved away like from the video.
Like, what?
And then
They saw that like it repaired itself, and then they're like, "Oh, cool, it repaired itself." They walked away, and then the video finishes, and then it just like
mutate, explode, and it's like, oh,
Well,
whoops.
and then they totally missed the actual overgrown rat that was there.
it was like skeleton of it.
Skeleton out of it.
It's nasty.
And Rook didn't even tell him that too. He was just like, oh, it does this. It just goes, oh, it can. We're too weak for space, but maybe we can do it now, and we'll live forever. And just bring it back to us, please. And poor Kay, was bleeding out, so she's like, I'm gonna have to take that in because even she needs that for the life pod with cryosleep. And then the whole thing, like just like in Prometheus, it like accelerated
birth.
And then we were like, what are we gonna get? Like, what are we gonna get out of this? Like, because in Prometheus,
I think it was
it's
just
cool. Like that
accelerated
sequence in
birth
Prometheus is
anyway.
cool. But
Because it's an alien, it's gonna.
So
talk
like
real fast.
when I saw when she said, "Oh, I'm pregnant," I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
like,
it's
totally."
it's happening.
At the
Yeah.
end, yeah. But I didn't expect it to be like that.
what came out.
that offspring
scene
was
something.
insane,
That scene
dude.
was
I
something.
loved that.
It
Like,
wasn't your typical dildo-headed alien.
I know.
Oh no, it wasn't.
I know some people didn't like it. I know a lot of people I think there's some people in the theater like grossed out about it. I was just like, oh great, we're getting like another freaky hybrid that they tried to do with Prometheus, and then hey, we're also getting that in. And we got it a little bit in Alien Resurrection, if you guys remember that, but probably just Anthony. But
I liked it. It was out there, but I'm glad they tried something new because for the most part,
It would've been
most
the
of the
same.
movie is
Felt like
kind
a
of
remix.
the same of the other movies, just like done very well. So it's like they did something different. So I like commend them for trying something new. It just sucks that it was like they did something new and then that was it. It finished in like 15 minutes. It's like
Yeah,
that thing isn't alive and gonna come back. So it's like now we're just gonna if they make another movie,
It'll probably
they're
set
gonna
a
go back
precedent
to the
now.
regular type of xenomorphs again. So that's the only thing. It's like that thing could have been like the future of whatever weird concoctions of future.
I don't know, man.
aliens.
Even though
I
it
want to
takes
see
place
more
in
of
the
that.
past relative. To
I thought it was
Nightmare
some
fuel.
weird fusion of CG and like robotics, and it's a person.
Yeah.
It was a person
Actual
in like
person
makeup.
in makeup.
Yeah,
Wild, right?
Robert Bobrovsky played the offspring.
Not Sergei Bobrovsky.
No,
Not the Sergei the Wall.
I looked it up.
Bobrovsky?
I looked it up.
Apparently, this guy is also like
A basketball
Yeah,
player.
7
Romanian
foot tall.
basketball player, 7'7".
7'6".
Oh
Oh
my
damn,
God.
I was off by one.
7'7".
What a
Yeah, dude.
And then when you look at him in real life,
He
like,
is even-
oh yeah, that's
Yeah, like he has the elongated like neck, and
yeah,
even
his
like
neck
some of the
is-
eyes. I was
his
like,
neck
man.
is ridiculously long.
Do you have a picture there?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes, everybody, I'm showing
I've
a
seen it.
picture to Zach.
I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen him in these pictures.
But then
before.
also like the alien
shit,
creature.
dude. What?
They did a lot of practical effects.
Yeah,
And like
so, like,
practical
that-
suits.
Now
and-
I'm like more impressed. That's like I'm sure there was some CG, but I'm pretty sure the majority of that is like this guy in makeup.
like even the tail, like all right, if you're gonna do a practical, I think like Stan Winston stuff was still in there. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of that
So-
going on. Like
Good on them.
That's not a real guy.
Yeah.
Good on them.
He's not real.
Good on them for continuing like using CG like as part of it and not completely because I think I don't know if you guys
even
saw
the face huggers were hella practical. Like the ones coming out of the water.
Yeah, like that's why this movie
the
looks so
chase,
good.
like it's great.
If you've seen any of the behind the scenes videos of how they made the xenomorphs,
That noise.
they
Every
look
time.
amazing. I think in very few scenes they're actually CG, but they've made
it blends
actual
in well with the practical.
animatronic xenomorphs, and they look awesome. And that's why like this movie just looks so well. It's like the perfect blend of CG and practical effects and nastiness because parts of this movie are nasty,
Yeah, like some of the kill sequences were really
brutal.
like it was like brutal, but it wasn't what I expected from Fede Alvarez, considering he did the Evil Dead remake. I was like freaking out because like, oh man, it's gonna get really gruesome, it's gonna get wild, but like it was kind of like, oh, what you expect from like a xenomorph kill or like acid blood. Like Bjorn got
That
twice.
was gonna be my favorite scene where it's
Yeah.
just like That guy, the scene of that. I don't
Andy
remember his
Hader?
name. I didn't know his
Bjorn.
name was Bjorn.
Yeah, they
it was the
mentioned
guy
it,
with the
yeah.
really sick accent.
I
that
knew
you
he
couldn't
was gonna
understand.
die.
Yeah, and he was a
Obviously.
jerk.
He was a jerk to Andy.
And you know when he got, he deserved it. And it's like, I mean, that scene is nasty because he's.
Oh, it was the acid blood.
Yeah, but
Through
he-
his freaking
But like it
throat.
first starts with him. Was that the same scene where
Well, he
they
got
encounter
stabbed.
like the egg, and then he
was
like
trying to zap
electrocutes it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
H.R. Geiger,
Yep.
dude, don't even try to
It's
explain
like,
it. Like,
it
that's
was like, all right, guys, I get it. I get what you're doing here.
Been there since
Super,
79.
super. Well, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna say it.
super suggestive.
No, not even that. But yeah,
Super vaginal.
he zaps it, thinks it does anything, and apparently it does nothing. Just pisses it off. It comes out of the whatever
Stings
cocoon,
him, yeah.
and then like, does it sting with the tail? Like it just like knifes him.
Yeah,
or-
just like
Yeah, just
Yeah,
stabs him.
it slices him like in the face.
it slices him, and then at some point, I don't remember when it happened or if it was after that scene, but then like he gets cut, falls on the floor, but I think he also damages it a little bit. And then because he damages it, acid blood falls on him, and it like goes to his eye, and then it's like
face, his
slowly,
hand,
it's slowly dripping
his
onto him
chest.
because
And
he
then
falls
his
on the floor.
arm too. I was
And so it's
dude,
just
this-
like
yeah.
he got like the slow, like gruesome death of just like
and
acid
then like it
going
exploded in his chest
Yeah.
or whatever that
No,
was.
No.
that was Navarro because Navarro got face hugger raped.
No.
Sorry
no.
for anyone that might be.
No,
triggered, but,
like when he
it's-
was there melting from the acid, it like exploded here, and he was like instant death.
I think it might have just been an
Like a double.
like
It's-
like a quadruple kill.
Yeah,
from
from the
acid, and I think it like
and then
stabbed
the
him
alien,
again.
then like popped him afterwards.
No, like the acid popped something here on his chest. Like he instant
Yeah,
death.
because
Like,
Tyler got jumped by
Yeah.
all like 4 other xenomorphs.
Yeah, he got
And
jumped, and then I guess he got the final
He got the
double
fi-
mouth,
the double kiss
the
of
mouth,
death.
and the inception
right in
mouth.
the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
pretty bad too, but,
but he
didn't
did
deserve
his
it as
best.
much. But
he did his best to try to like fight him off, and it gave these people time.
but yeah, definitely the Bjorn kill. That scene was gruesome, twosome.
Yeah, like the sound effects of Navarro's like rib cage slowly breaking. I was like, "Yup, that's the sound." Like that's totally memorable. If you've seen these movies, you're like, "It's happening." You're about to just get it, and yeah, it's just waiting for that to drop and the xenomorph to pop out from the chest. And they're like, "Yeah, there
And
it
like
is."
how it's like, and then the camera like focuses on Kay, with just like the blood spatter going on her face, and her like freaking out. Like she's like, "What the hell is this thing?"
Well, Kay, we all thought she was gonna die
Like
originally.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Remember, Andy was like,
when they lock the door, they're like, oh, if we go out there.
And I like that because it showed how smart they were.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's smart but ruthless. Remember, because Andy's like, "Nah, we're not doing
'Cause-
that."
No, how smart the aliens are.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
they,
sure.
they were using her as bait, and then like they got her and like kept her alive in the nest.
And they're like, "You sure you're gonna come?
Uh-huh.
Huh? I'm coming. I'm here." And then yeah, it ended up
That's
being
like the
case.
scene in what do you call it?
Because Tyler's sister. Yeah.
In Mad Max, in Fury Road, he's like, "Nope, that's bait.
That's
like,
bait."
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. They're just waiting for us to open the door."
Yeah. Remember the perfect organisms, like according to Rook and to other people in the series, like these are the perfect organisms.
They mentioned it in this movie.
Yep.
A couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, there were a few times where like it showed
Dude.
that they were smart. Like
Yeah.
the elevator scene, that one that like ended up catching Rain like as she was falling.
Yeah.
He's like, "Ah, gotcha." But
Yeah.
then like as the elevator was falling, he's just like, "Oh." He like hides in the one little crevice that's there. He's
And
like,
then
"No."
came back around. I was like, "Ah, it's smart, good." Yeah.
Like, man, these those things are.
That elevator sequence.
That makes
was pretty cool.
them even
Yeah.
creepier.
Gravity up, gravity out.
It makes
Gravity
them
up,
even
gravity down.
creepier that they're like that smart. You're like, okay, I don't want to mess with these things.
Yeah, like
They
that.
got
Like,
human brains inside xenomorph stuff. Yeah, that's freaky, man. Zach, any other standout scenes for you? You talked about the ice and the station falling.
I don't know. I mean, I also like the elevator scene.
Cool.
Of course,
cool.
and the beginning scene with like the multiple facehuggers going in the water and then jumping at everybody.
That's always
pretty,
freaked me out. I was like,
creepy.
I remember seeing the triggers. I'm like, yo, who? I was like, everyone in that room is dead. Like
What-
immediately, I was like, you're gone.
What's worse than one facehugger? Like 30
18 of them.
Yeah, I was like-
Oh, and that they're like attracted to sound. I was like, that's really cool. Like I never
And-
actually
and
didn't
heat.
know that. And
I don't know how many were there,
Yeah.
but there was a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually like from the lore did not know that. Like, oh, that's cool.
Oh,
to know.
the sequence where they have to like open the
Slowly.
door
And
to
like
go
slowly,
through.
like go in the room.
But they match the temperature of
To
the
their-
room
to
to
their
match
body.
their body and to kind of camouflage through. I thought that was cool.
It's kind of like
until
the
you
Predator.
like start sweating.
It's kind of like the
and then,
Predator.
Yeah, they said if you sweat, it's going to cool your body, and then they can sense the temperature change.
Yeah, and it's like that means, which then makes you think, oh,
Doesn't
these
really make
people,
sense,
no,
'cause
these people
they're gonna be sweating
really,
their asses off.
these people really studied these things. It's like, damn, you guys really are just like really going in hardcore into no morals or ethics science. Like we're trying to figure that junk out. Danny, any lasting other moments that we might have missed?
No, I think we got most of them. I know you want to mention a couple things of a couple
More
couple
bad jokes. Yes. Why the blind miner fall into the well? Because he couldn't see that well. I remember hearing like,
God.
oh god, terrible.
See, that was a dad joke I've never heard before.
Or did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? It turns out all he needed was to be given a little space. I'm just like, there was like a few more that I think I missed.
There was that classic. Oh, did you hear about the guy that lost his left side?
Oh yeah, he's all right.
All right.
He's all right. He's Arrested Development reference. Why don't monsters eat clowns? Because they taste funny. That's another classic one. Like, and it was like Andy, like trying to his original programming of just like, hey, these are fun.
It feels like Tars with his like 70% humor setting.
Yes. Good Interstellar reference. Very cool.
I know you mentioned kind of like callbacks to themes of other movies, but did we talk about the score at all?
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Okay. So
There was one of the main I forgot what scene from the original Alien movie, but like there's like this big like kind of like grandiose theme that's from Jerry Goldsmith's original score. They played it also in this movie. I think I was next to Anthony, like, oh, that's from the original movie. Like I remember hearing it. I forgot what sequence it was, but it was like I heard it and it immediately like opened up in my brain, like, yeah, that's the Alien theme. Like I remember in the 90s they came out with a CD compilation of famous sci-fi themes. The Alien theme was one of them. They had it in this movie, so that was a really cool callback to that, at least for me. I forgot who did the score. I remember looking it up on the day that we saw it, but I cannot for the life of me remember his name. But he's done
Benjamin Wallfish.
Wallfish, yes, he did. He's done quite a few things.
We talked about him recently.
He did It, or both It.
Both it's
Twisters.
yeah,
that's why we talked about
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049.
yeah.
And he did Shazam and The Flash.
That's right. That guy's got did he do? He didn't do Cloud Atlas, did he?
I don't know.
No,
No, because that was Junkie XL.
Was it?
Yeah. Or no,
I think he. Look it up.
Hulkenberg. That's Junkie XL,
Was it?
right?
Yeah.
Let me-
look up Cloud Atlas. Yeah, like.
So it's not Hulkenberg. It is Tom Tykwer. Tyker. I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah, I've seen his name in a couple other things, but really off the top of my head, I don't remember stuff that he's done. But I've seen his name. I don't know if I've seen him anything recently, but
I think he did Matrix Resurrections.
Resurrections is like
So-
okay, got it. Yeah, that's
Another Wachowski.
the Wachowskis. Yeah, wanna they like him.
Lastly, or more coming up, he will be doing the Kraven the Hunter movie.
Ooh.
Who's doing Craven? Wallfish?
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Hey man, he's busy this year. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, like overall, like everything, all the little pieces of this movie really come together to a great sci-fi horror. I thought I was gonna be like really grossed out or freaked out, but like
there were moments.
But in a good way. Not like, oh, this is so awful. Like, like I have to look away. Like it's like not Evil Dead remake, because that one was rough to watch. It's great, but it's rough. But
Another Fede
it's like
Alvarez
similar
movie.
to like Evil Dead Rise, where it's like that kind of like you're going in hardcore on some of that stuff. But this
Fede
was
Alvarez didn't do.
he didn't do
right?
Rise.
Okay.
He only did the first one, but it set the tone for Rise. Honestly, though, it's movie's awesome. Any other lasting notes, comments? That's the things you may want
I would
to point out
say
from the movie.
kudos to the cinematographer.
Oh yeah,
I don't know who he is. Gallo Oliveras.
a lot of great space shots, or shots of like even the mining colony too. Like just establishing shots and transitional shots were just done really well.
Yeah. him and Fede Alvarez were a good team, and part of the reason why this movie looks so good.
Man, yeah, that's really good stuff.
Definitely visually, this movie looks very, very good, and it looked even better because it was in Dolby.
Like I would just rewatch this movie for the cinematography.
Yeah, like I can't wait to I try to rewatch it in theaters. If not, I can't wait to watch it at home and just kind of like, hey, I got an OLED screen, but try something on it. But it's a great one, and it's definitely, hopefully, it's kicking around thoughts now where. You may have Dan Trachtenberg and Fede Alvarez trying to do maybe, in a perfect world, there's a team up for an Alien and Predator movie again, but done right, hopefully.
I don't know if it can be done.
If it can be done, well, with two directors.
Those other two were so bad.
Prey was fantastic.
Yeah, and this movie's also fantastic. So it's like...
It just sucks Prey didn't get a theatrical release because
it would have made money, dude. Yeah. I really think it would have made money.
Well, this was supposed to be also streaming only, and I think because of Prey, they're like, okay, we gotta make this theatrical, because they realized they didn't make any money with Prey because the only way to make money is by getting
critical and popular acclaim. We're like, damn, like we got
critical and popular acclaim doesn't give you money.
Doesn't give us money, yeah. Those subscriptions
just need new subscriptions, but I don't know how much subscriptions.
All right, but where's the money?
Cheap tickets. Remember, theater for the most part will be better at the swap shop. Damn, Anthony, you set me up. I couldn't leave it there hanging.
Couldn't resist.
I had to. Did you ever watch a movie at the swap shop?
Yes.
The drive-in?
Once.
I can't.
I think I've only been to the swap shop twice.
I don't remember if I think I might have. I can't remember. This is before either of your times. I'm just gonna say that right
youngins.
Now. Don't know about the swap shop.
Speaking of youngins, so I guess Zach is in this category, but so youngins, they're like, I played. We said it before, Dead Space, but I've never seen these movies, but I've seen this one now. Those youngins are gonna be like, this movie is just like Dead Space when it should be reversed. Dead Space looks the way it does and it feels the way it does because of Aliens. So if you guys like the Dead Space games, then definitely go and watch the old Alien movies and you'll see where they got their inspiration from. Because those games are classified as survival horror games and then they're in space. That's like literally what essentially
that's what Alien was.
Yeah, like the first, and I guess the first two, that's kind of like what they are. They're horror-ish, and the second one's more like the action side. Yeah. But the first one for sure is like one of those games, and they've made games just like them now. It's just a horror survival game in a spaceship. And so I would go back. A big old
spaceship, because the Nostromo was also a big old spaceship.
If you like this movie, I would go back and watch the old ones.
They're all on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken.
Hulu or Max, one of them.
No, they're Hulu.
They're all on Hulu, because Disney owns them now.
Definitely give them a shot. You might like them. Yeah. At least a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about 3 and Resurrections. I think 3, going back, people might like it a little more. Resurrection has some cool moments, but it also has Sigourney Weaver playing basketball, but that's a different thing. Yep, leave that for you there. Like Anthony said, if this movie, even us talking about it, just sparked your interest on the other Alien movies, go ahead, give them a watch. They're really cool. Go play Alien Isolation. That's a cool game.
Are there parts that you guys didn't like?
Good point. Yeah.
I don't really think so. I mean, like maybe the parts of it felt like a kind of a slow burn until it finally started picking up when they were on the station. But I don't think there was anything that I could really say I believe
it took them about
35 minutes.
Yeah, to get on
before Facehugger started melting. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that jump freaked me out.
This was like 2 hours, right?
Yeah. We got to the part where, all right, cool, we got the cryo tanks and we're gonna put them in our cryo tanks. We're putting Kay in there. I'm gonna go to sleep. Andy's getting everything ready for the ship to go on autopilot. And Anthony, I remember, Anthony looks, he's like, wait, there's like 15 minutes left, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Something else is happening.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, she injected herself. Something's totally gonna happen. And then we get that final act of, woo!
Damn that scene.
Yeah. Ooh.
That childbirth scene.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Ultra, lightning speed and labor. But yeah, this movie, again, really great stuff with this movie. Really good stuff.
Is that it? The slow burn?
Slow burn,
Just a little
probably
bit,
just a
slow
little bit of the CGI on
That's how the first
But,
one is also. It's a
yeah.
little bit of a slow burn too. And
Oh, I
then
thought you were talking about the CGI. Like the first
No,
one
no,
has
no.
like zero
has
CGI.
zero, sir. Zero.
This predates.
Yeah, so for me, I would say the Ian Holmes CGI face.
You know,
And I didn't like. I was fine with a lot of, I know they had a lot of callbacks from the previous movies. Part of me is like, yeah, a good amount of this movie is callbacks. You kind of need some of those to, I guess, get some people to like buy into this movie. I guess people who would like fell off the franchise maybe. So I didn't mind some of them. The one I really didn't like was the one at the end. Yes, it's a spoiler, but you're listening to a spoiler podcast. Is at the
Yeah.
end of the movie after the whole elevator sequence, and then when Andy's falling and then comes and saves Rain to shoot like the last xenomorph, and he says the line like, "Get away from her, you bitch." To me, it like made no sense as to why he would say it, and
It's
it's
just
like
for him to say it.
yeah, it was just for him to say it and be like, "Oh, remember that line?" And it's like that was the one that like made me roll my eyes. I'm like, he didn't really need to do that.
yeah,
It didn't even make
I
sense
remember
for
that.
his
I was
character.
Also,
Like his character, because he was back to normal.
he never
Andy.
cursed.
Yeah, he never
Yeah.
cursed and was never like angry like that. Not angry, but never like aggressive. So like even if he was aggressive in that one moment, like for him to curse in that one moment, okay, if he were to curse, fine, curse. But it's like, but he had to say that line. So like it makes even less sense because this movie takes place before that line is even said,
Also,
which is stupid. So it's like I don't know why they kind of had to,
Paradox.
yeah, it's like why would you do that when it was like it meant so much more in Aliens when it was said to me
because
So-
it's the alien queen, so it's obviously female. So her saying "bitch" made sense.
Yeah, and
the
it was-
xenomorph, you don't know it's whatever it is. If it's
for me it hits in one movie and in this one it doesn't hit at all.
Yeah.
It's like they just like I felt like somebody probably made them put that in the movie and they're like I guess we'll put it here.
studio.
Yeah, I don't think that was a
Studio
I don't think Finn
interference.
Alvarez is like I'm gonna put this in the movie. I think I'm sure somebody made them
Or
put that
whoever
in
the
movie.
writer is.
Yeah, well he was
one of the
Oh, he
writers.
was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the one. I was like, I get it, but it's like you didn't need to do that. There was enough callbacks that's the one you didn't need to do, and I would have been fine with the others. But that's it. Overall I liked it. So yeah, it's part of it was callbacky. It was like a mixture of a lot of the past movies. So that's why I was curious to hear like Zach's, like how Zach thought about it since it's his first one, because I'm sure there's people that may not like this movie because it's just like it's like
really
you
good.
could say it's like a remix of all the other movies. So it's like you only know that if you've seen the other ones. But if this is your first one, then this is probably someone's like new favorite sci-fi movie because it's really cool.
I hope I would
Or a
hopefully
good
think that's
introduction
kind of a good
into
intro
the
to it.
franchise.
I honestly think
With this movie, I learned that the facehugger is the actual alien, whereas the xenomorph is just a hybrid.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's how that works. The
So,
facehugger comes from the.
I used to think that the facehugger was like a larva version of that.
No.
No.
it's
And
the
eventually,
Yeah, it just basically
Grow
it's its
into
thing
that.
to go, hey, I'm going to do the thing on whatever organism, impregnate whatever organism it is, and then it's the baby will violently burst out of it. That's always the case. It'll always violently burst out
Quick.
because quickly and violently.
Part of me almost thinks that I think
60%
this
chance
movie would have
against
been better if it was just like standalone, like a reboot. Like, okay, there's all these alien movies, and it's like here's a reboot that's like a remix of the other ones, but we're starting from scratch, like our own new version. But instead, they're like, no, let's just shove it in. And so
The timeline
I feel like
somewhere.
because they shoved it in before the first one, then it has to adhere and like be, I guess, sort of like symmetrical with the other ones. So then it almost feels like making it a remix of the other ones makes it worse than if it was its own reboot. Because everything's kind of hunky-dory at the end. So it's like, if they make another one, it can't really be a sequel to this one. It's just going to be another standalone in whatever time period. I don't know when it's going to take place.
Like, to me, I guess I would say I would disagree that it works against it by fitting it somewhere into like the timeline of like all the alien stuff, because there's so much already in there, and I think it's like done as a way of kind of like celebrate it, but also it like elevates and adds to a lot of like the whole alien mythos stuff going on without it getting too like buried into like, you know,
Or dependent on the
or
other one.
dependent on lore or anything like that. It's more just like, hey, like the major big corporation exists. This thing is happening. This little thing that came from Prometheus. This is this thing from the first movie, and there you go. You're good.
I would say, at least for me, the only thing that really elevates this one and makes it like separate from the other ones, which is like the things that I liked about it was the inclusion of what the scientists were doing on this station, which was making that new serum, and then thus, being injected into one of the people in this movie, and then thus creating
that hybrid,
that ridiculous hybrid, which was also a new thing for the franchise. It just is crazy, wacky, new type of alien. But then it's like, but it was one and done, because unless somehow in the next version
that vial is still somewhere,
somehow
or another copy
vials of that serum or that alien didn't die and it's alive somewhere somehow. I doubt it.
In space.
Well, yeah, I doubt it.
Remember, because this thing could survive in space, but it also got shredded by orbiting debris.
Yeah.
So,
right.
but
that's
again,
what I'm saying. So it's like the things that
are cool,
and that are like new things that this movie did. It ended with this movie, which is like kind of a bummer. So that means the next one needs to introduce other new things, or else it's going to be the same thing. So it's kind of, at least for me, it's like I really liked it, but there was also things that I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, since I've seen a lot of the other ones, or most of the other ones, that's why I'm like a little, it's good, but it's also like, it's good because it took stuff from the other ones. Visually, it's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
that's fair. Yeah,
we all agree.
Your concern is like, where does it go from here?
Well, yeah. Well, that was my concern with this one. Was like, well, if we've had so many, so what's this one gonna do that's different? And it kind of did like one or two things different, and it was more or less the same, but in a cool way. So it's like, so okay, what's the next one gonna be? If it's the same, it's like, how many of these can you make? Because you can only do so many of the same thing. So we'll see if he continues to do them, Fede Alvarez, and if he has different takes. Well, hopefully they're cool, and hopefully he does just as a good job as he did in this one. I don't know if you guys heard. I think you've heard about the TV show that's coming out. The Alien TV show. It's called Alien Earth. Yeah. You know who's working on it?
They don't know about
Noah Hawley. Well, Noah Hawley. This guy, like every
Fargo,
show that he's done,
Legion.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And so this show might be like the best Alien thing since the originals. So it might be pretty amazing.
You think Guy Pearce will be in it?
God,
I
hope so.
Like lore-wise, it makes sense for him to be in it, but like I really hope so. That would be like the ultimate get. Like we got Guy Pearce as Wayland. That'd be dope.
But yeah, are we giving any scores, or we're just that's it? Everybody was like, oh.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10 alien eggs.
Nice.
I'll give it an 8 as well. 8 dildo heads. Okay.
8 out of 10 Minnie Mouse.
8 xenomorph popcorn buckets.
Ooh, speaking of popcorn buckets, they came out with like a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And
just for this movie?
Yes.
Oh my god.
They had the actual like alien head, and then they had like a face hugger one.
Oh god.
And then they also had like a
no, thank you.
They had a containment like thing with a face hugger on it.
Nope.
And people are doing this cool thing because it lights up inside.
Hell no.
Instead of putting popcorn, they've been putting like a alien like statue or predator statue inside. It looks pretty cool.
I don't need something that looks like a spider hanging around in my...
But continuing on with the trend of new and creative popcorn buckets, we're all about that.
We're all about that.
Although you can never find it.
We haven't gotten any, but...
Only one we got was the Ant-Man one, I think, right? Yeah, that's one amazing.
We missed the Thor's hammer one.
The last big popcorn bucket that I got, not big, but like the special editions, was from, I think, Fast 8. Fast and Furious 8.
Really?
Well, they had like the...
And it was a...
of the Furious.
Yeah, the whole bucket is like shaped like a tire, and you can actually like rotate it, and it looks pretty cool. But yeah, back then they weren't like super creative, but I thought that one was pretty cool.
You can get a popcorn bucket for your entire family.
That would be expensive.
Family.
It'd be as expensive as that 10th movie.
10th movie. Oof. Too expensive. Oof. All right. So
too fast.
Speaking of what can be coming up next time, tune in next time for another episode. We'll leave it kind of open, mysterious, out in space. But thank you so much again for tuning in. Whatever platform that you are catching us on, please give us a like and subscribe so you can continue getting some more fun and hopefully insightful, but also entertaining insights on our favorites in TV and film. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, and I give it a 7. Bye.
There you go.
Game
Bye.
over, man.
Game over, man. Oh, we're going to do lines from other movies? Cool.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Mine was an 8 as well. So.
All right, cool.
8, 7, 8, 8.
8887. All right, so we're like...
An IGN 7.
7 to
We're in an Olympic diving score. That one judge gives us the lower score.
No, I'm going to give it a 0 because it's breakdancing.
Oh, my God. All right. Thanks so much once again for tuning in, everybody. And to quote one of my favorite lines from Aliens, nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Later, guys.